Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whenever time it is that you're watching this. It is the 24th of April. I have to check that because I'm so confused as to which day of the week it is. But here we are, Friday, the end of another week. I hope you're all doing okay. It's a real blessing. The weather has been pleasant. It's been great to have that. The joy of being able to go out and not be rained upon when you're out and about. Certainly our dogs have been enjoying it. And being out in the garden at the back, just lying out in the sun. So that's been lovely. I don't know how you're doing in your hair scenario at the moment. Mine is definitely getting to that stage. Something is going to have to give here, but I haven't quite broken down and let the kids have a go at it yet. We'll see how that goes. I was up at the church yesterday and picking up all the food to take to Instant Neighbour. So thanks very much to all of you who had donated on Wednesday for that. Just a reminder that the church is going to be open between 1 and 2 p.m. and 7 and 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. So you can deliver any food items. We're really talking about kind of the basics, thinking about tin foods, kind of dried foods, things that you put in the cupboard, and basic toiletries as well are very much appreciated by Instant Neighbour. We went and delivered the stuff off to Instant Neighbour, and that was great just to have a chat with some of the folks that are working there. And they mentioned that the amount of food parcels they're putting out have gone up 4 times from kind of usual thing it would have been a couple of months ago. So they're delivering or giving out around about 400 food parcels a week. So you can imagine that they need a steady supply of goods going into the food bank in order to meet those needs. Now, somebody had mentioned about giving financial donations to the food banks. Now, I'm sure that would be very much gratefully received by them. However, just in the particular situation they're in at the moment, the items that they primarily buy with financial donations, because they're down to a skeleton staff, a lot of their volunteers are more elderly and so a bit more vulnerable, so need to keep away at the moment. Well, they're finding that they just don't have the capacity to go out and get the food themselves. So they really are reliant on us doing that and then giving the food to them that they can sort out into the parcels to go out. So just to keep that in mind at the moment. But while we were up at the church, I noticed around one of the trees that's got the yarn bombing around it, a couple of little messages had appeared in kind of sewn together form of a heart and a wee message of faith in these circumstances to keep faith. So I don't know who put them there, but they are lovely and they gave me a nice big smile when I saw them tucked away into the wee little crannies on the tree. I've seen a few stones around as well that have been painted with little messages. Keep that up. It's great. Brings a little smile to folks as they're going around. Now, if you have been busy knitting, the squares, we've been putting those together, sewing them together, and there's one of them just about ready to go out onto one of the trees. Well, hopefully this will decorate one of the trees in Duthie Park, so I'll need to get in touch with the manager there about that just to confirm that. But that should be a lot of fun. So keep those coming. We're putting those together and we'll be putting them around the place just to bring a smile to folks as they're wandering around. Also, just a reminder to keep in touch with folks, keep calling people, just keep that contact point. It's so important at the moment. That's one of the things that the volunteers that are helping out with our COVID-19 response can do. So if you know of somebody that needs a wee extra call from somebody to keep in touch, then do let us know. And if there are any support needs, like going to get shopping or prescriptions, things like that, we've got a whole team of folks that are there willing to help. And if there are any kind of financial, like folks are getting worried that they're running out of cash to be able to pay for that, well, we can still help and we can still support. So do let them know not to be worried about that, just to get in touch with and we'll see what we can do. Now, I've been getting other messages through about different things that are happening around and one of those messages came through was from CrossReach. For those of you who don't know, CrossReach is the part of the Church of Scotland that is involved in social care, and that is very practical social care. They actually have 50 different places around Scotland, and some of them are care homes, but they also have other support homes for people that might have addiction issues or different things. So keep them in mind at the moment. I know we have our own Cowdrey Club care home just right next door to the church, and very much thinking about the carers there and the residents Cowdrey Club. There are many care homes around that are in need of support, and CrossReach has put a particular appeal looking for some support, also looking for some volunteers who may be able to help. So if you go to the website, it's CrossReach, you'll find more information there, and there's a message from the chief officer. I can't remember what the role of the title is, but it's kind of the boss of CrossReach, just about the situation that they are in at the moment. We're well into spring now, so I've been hearing in talking to folks about how wonderful their gardens are coming on because of all the time that's been spent in those gardens, and it's lovely to see those of new life springing up around us. And despite all of the challenges that we are going through at the moment, it's really heartening to see how folks are looking at one another at the moment, how they're reaching out to support one another at the moment. So we're all able to participate in that as simple ways that we can do that, in keeping in touch with one another, keeping one another in our thoughts and in our prayers, and in those practical ways that we can reach out and do something to help one another. I was reminded by a passage from John's Gospel when Jesus is on the cross. So he's actually being crucified in that moment of where everything seems to be in a state of anguish and fear and pain. And yet in that moment, he looks out and sees his mother Mary, and he sees disciples. And in John's Gospel, this disciple is always described as the one whom Jesus loved. And he sees the two of them standing there, and he says to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." And then he turns to the disciple and says, "Here is your mother." And then we read, from that hour, the disciple took her into his own home. Bond, even in the midst of all of that anguish and that worry and that pain, that bond was formed and linked that would continue on into the future. Now, a good friend of mine, Liz Crumlish, has written a reflection that is based on that passage, and I share that with you at the end of this vlog post. In the agony of death, you looked upon the woman who gave you life, the woman who offered up her womb for God's seed to be planted, an offering that brought her shame and joy, searing pain and loss, pride and puzzlement, consuming love and crippling grief. You looked upon her and asked her for more, to mother your beloved disciple. You placed him into her care and her into his. You knew in the days she would long for a son to hold and to cherish, one who would look out for her in her landscape of loss. And there is a beauty in a mother given and a son, in a relationship forged not through blood, but gouged out in love. May we know the joy of mothering and being mothered in every stage of life. Mary, our mother, lend us your love. Amen. A reminder that after the service on Sunday, the service is on YouTube at the usual time of 11 a.m., we'll have our online gathering through Zoom, and the contact information for that is all on the church website. So if you're able to join us there, that'd be lovely. We can have a wee blether and a catch up with news. Thanks everyone. Keep yourselves safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.